Evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're reconvened to open session from our closed. Liz, if I could ask you to read the two items that we discussed in closed.
Okay. We discussed two items. Number one, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one potential case. And number two, conference with real property negotiator, negotiating parties Jason Behrman, city manager, and Alfonso and Nohemi Quesada, Jose Alberto Vera.
Mr. Rudolph, did you have any comments?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. On the first item, anticipated litigation, there's no reportable action. On the second item, conference with real property negotiator, the council did not conclude that matter and will be returning to closed session at the conclusion of the regular meeting.
Okay, thank you. We will now open the regular city council meeting at 7:02 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Payne. Here. Claire.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Meredith.
Here.
Shelton.
Here. I'd like everyone to please rise for a moment of silence, silent prayer, remain standing for the flag salute. If you would, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Liz, if we could have the video statement, please.
This meeting of the Galt City Council is being videotaped in its entirety and will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and SureWest cable system. Tonight's meeting can be seen on Channel 14 and will also be webcast at www.factmetrocable.tv this Friday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Tonight's meeting can also be seen via live video streaming on the city's website at www.ci.galt.ca.us. A VHS copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address council should fill out a speaker identification form and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing council and state your name for the record.
Okay. Now we'll move to agenda approval, additions, and/or deletions. Are there any council members?
I have none.
None? None? Okay. We will move right into presentations. And we have CAPS, Certifications of Recognition by Lynn Hutchinson, Galt Police Department. Did you want me to go over?
You should go down there.
Okay, and then I'll just stay there.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members and citizens of Galt. As you may recall, National Volunteer Week was April 18th through the 24th. We were unable to attend the City Council meeting on the April 20th as it was the CAP's first furlough day, as well as you guys had to talk about Walmart. But I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit about these valuable volunteers. We started National Volunteer Week off with a lunch honoring all of the CAP's the PD volunteers, Honored guests included Mayor Randy Shelton, Vice Mayor Barbara Payne, City Manager Jason Berman, as well as City Clerk Liz Aguirre. And we appreciate you coming to the luncheon. National Volunteer Week is a special opportunity to recognize our volunteers, although we try to show our appreciation throughout the year to these valuable volunteers. We appreciate them and everything they do for the police department as well as the community of Galt. Unfortunately, we only have 4 volunteers here tonight because some have been working the census. We have some ill people and some out of town, so I'm sorry that it's just 4. But these volunteers before you tonight have done something for every citizen of Galt, whether it be a vacation house checks, patrolling your neighborhood, removing or reporting graffiti, traffic control, particularly at the schools, enforcing parking ordinances. Believe me, they have touched every one of us. The next time you see one of them on the street, please take a moment to thank them for their commitment and dedication to the citizens of Galt. I also want to share with you tonight some of the volunteer statistics for 2009. They're pretty amazing. We currently have 12 active CAPS volunteers, 3 inactive, 1 reserve officer, as well as 2 chaplains. Just the CAPS volunteers gave a total of 5,753 hours to the city of Galt in 2009. So basically 12 active people. This represents just over 2.5 full-time employees. That's pretty amazing. The hours worked by these volunteers goes up every year. Can you imagine increasing your volunteer hours every year? They must really like their boss to come back for more hours. If you had to pay them at the national average rate of $20.85 per hour, the finance department would have been writing a check for $119,950. I hope that our program grows throughout the years and that the volunteers know just how much they mean to us. Tonight, the mayor will be presenting Presidential Volunteer Service Awards to each individual, recognizing the hours they gave so freely in 2009, as well as some Lifetime Achievement Awards. Those volunteers that gave between 100 and 249 hours just in 2009 will be receiving a bronze presidential pin. Those with 250 to 499 hours will receive a silver pin, and those volunteering more than 500 hours in 2009 will be receiving a gold pin. The Lifetime Service Award is given to those who have volunteered more than 4,000 hours over the years of service. To you, my friends, thank you for all you do.
Lynn, the 4,000-hour person, they get their own police car, don't they? Isn't that?
Yes. Well, if that's the case, then Fred gets the building. He's got 10,000 hours. Amazing, isn't it? You guys didn't know you were getting recognition tonight. You thought you were just coming to brag, huh? Bruce Honey. Oh, and there's your hours panel. James Hugel, Jim Hugel. Congratulations. Thank you. Fred Jackson. That's the legal name.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he does.
You wouldn't do them for me? That was good.
They say you have to get up real early to get ahead of it.
There you go. Thank you.
And Bill Hogan. Thank you, Al. Thank you, City Council, very much.
Thank you.
While everyone's dispersing, I'd like to say a couple of words too. You know, these guys are really special. They don't get paid a lot of money, and they're not always appreciated when they're sticking those little red stickers on people's motorhomes and things. But when these guys are working, I know they're doing it from their heart, and I appreciate them so much, as I'm sure the whole council and the rest of the community does also, as well as you, Lynn. I know you've been there right along beside them, so I just wanted to say my personal thanks.
Yeah, our next item, a proclamation for Older American Month, Older Americans Month. Mr. Williams, Commissioner Williams? you can step up. And he is from the Sacramento Adult and Aging Commission.
I won't read the whole proclamation, but now therefore the City of Galt, City of Galt in California does hereby proclaim May 2010 to be Older Americans Month. We urge every citizen to take time this month to honor our older adults and professionals, family members and volunteers who care for many of them. Our recognition and involvement of older Americans can enrich our entire community with the quality of life.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Thanks.
I just want to say thank you with the City of Galt from Sacramento, from Reginald Williams and Peggy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Take care of the bar.
Okay. So the next item we have is public comment.
Under Government Code, Section 54954.3, members of the audience may address the council on any item of interest to the public or on any agenda item before or during consideration of the item. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the city clerk prior to addressing the council. We request that you state whether you live within the Galt city limits or the county area. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker. Dave Dahlgren. After Mr. Dahlgren, John Slaughterback.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Bad hair day, windy out there. My name is Dave Dahlgren. I'm a resident of Galt going on 18 years now, and I just wanted to take this opportunity now because the last council meeting, I knew it had a long agenda to it, and I just held these comments until this meeting tonight. I just wanted to thank everybody at the city, Liz and her staff, I think at Parks and Recs, for the great shred day we had here. It was our second one, and it was better than the first one I went to last year. And I almost ran Liz over with my car. She says, come on, come on, come on, you know. So she stepped out of the way just in time. But it was great. Didn't even have to get out of the car. Somebody opens up the back door, takes my bag of shred material out. And Liz says, come on, we've got to keep them running, got to keep them running. Didn't even, so it was a lot of fun. It was great. And I know that it may be drawing to a close, but I don't know, maybe not. Not for me to decide, but I just want to say a sincere thank you for the city. This is amazing. You cannot believe how much stuff and how many people were in that line, but everyone got through okay. And I could just imagine the stuff in those cars, if it wasn't for Shred Day, strewn all over the county. It's something to think about. So it's a great service, and thank you folks so much.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Mr. Slaughterback?
John Slaughterback. I live in the city of Galt. I just wanted to comment a little bit about Walmart. I've never disagreed or opposed a Walmart store in Galt at any location. I've actually been in favor of a Walmart store in Galt. My comments are not directed toward Kurt Champion. He's doing his job. My comments are for council. If this city had been prudent, wise, it would have wooed the Walmart team to build in a location where other retail space is available. Walmart stores act somewhat as magnets. they attract other retail stores to their sphere of influence. If you build a Walmart store, they will come, but not here in Galt, not at this location. A better location would have been on Crillion Boulevard and Twin Cities Road, an area with plenty of retail space is available for other retail stores. But that's not my concern whether the city grows with additional retail or not. But I thought it was council's. But you didn't prove it with this location. My concerns peaked when I heard council's acceptance speech, in which council never mentioned anything about traffic impacts to the area. Highway 104, Twin Cities Road, has one lane east and one lane west with a center left turn lane. Traffic headed east on Highway 104, which will include shoppers headed to the Walmart store. These wishing to exit 104 and enter the Walmart shopping center will do so by interfering with the main traffic flow on Highway 104 headed east. There are no plans for a right turn lane entering the Walmart shopping center. If you don't correct this problem now, how will you be able to correct it in the future? When the city has grown and the problem magnified, it's bad planning for traffic to have to turn from a main thoroughfare into a Walmart store. The EIR should have included a right turn lane, just as Tractor Supply and Rite Aid has. There's also a need for a traffic light on 104 for traffic exiting Walmart shopping center. A traffic light Caltrans said wouldn't be allowed because it's too close to the freeway, which sounds ridiculous. Other cities have similar existing conditions and install traffic lights. In the city of Lodi, similar conditions exist on Cattleman Lane next to the freeway. With new development, a fourth traffic light was installed. Same conditions that we got here. Lodi has had numerous accidents on Cattleman Lane, and one police officer was killed. There was a lawsuit against the city. The city then installed a center divider throughout the length of Kettleman Lane. That actually eliminated left turn lanes against oncoming traffic. The lawsuit never materialized because the statute of limitation had expired. But it was a wake-up call for the city of Lodi, and they took action and corrected their safety problem. The city of Galt is creating similar conditions on Twin Cities Road that Lodi has in Kettleman Lane. The city attorney's concluding comment to council: if council believes the EIR was been prepared in good faith, then it can be legally defendable in court. What does that mean? It means you can argue your case in court. It doesn't mean you'll win. It's obvious why Walmart and their experts didn't find any traffic impacts here. If they had been required to install a right turn lane, it would have eliminated some parking spaces, and they would have had to either downsize the store or move to another location. Council was elected to serve the city. The EIR, with its traffic impacts that haven't been mitigated for, does not serve the city well. I'm sure City of Galt can expect a lawsuit to ensue. And I don't understand really how council can listen to one night of testimony and make a decision, and unless you would think leaders of anything would be involved in the process. But maybe you were, I don't know. But this traffic impacts is not acceptable, and I'm sure that you'll get a lawsuit out. I don't know, unless there's something that I'm not aware of. There's no right turn lane in the Walmart store. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Next.
That's all the public, that's all the comment I have under public comment.
Oh, okay. Information consent calendar, I think we have 8 items. Liz, would you read those off, please?
Yes, number 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 20th, 2010. Number 2, approval of the City of Galt warrants. Number 3, requesting consolidation for the 2010 general municipal election. Number 4, resolution adopting regulations for candidates for the November 2nd, 2010 election. Number 5, contract award for the 2010 sewer line replacement project. Number 6, contract award for Northeast Area Stockton Boulevard bicycle lane Connection Improvement Project. Number 7, Central Galt Interchange, purchase of seasonal wetland credits for mitigation. And number 8, approval of the proclamation recognizing Older American Month.
Okay. If there's no
Move to
question,
approve. Second?
motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? None? We'll need to do
Roll call.
roll call vote.
Okay. Vice Mayor Payne,
Aye.
Councilmember Clare,
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes,
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton.
Aye. Okay, good. Next item. Scheduled matters, regular calendar. Would you read those, please? I'm sorry.
Okay, under City Council, number 1, resolution in support of H.R. 4812, Local Jobs for America Act. Councilmember Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to go over a few of the facts about this bill. As I discussed at a previous meeting, this was something that was recommended at the National League of Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. This is something that the National League of Cities has decided to lobby for, and they've asked that cities all across the country adopt these resolutions in support of this bill. The bill would provide $75 billion over 2 years to local governments, community-based organizations, and states to save and create local jobs. The U.S. Department of Labor will administer the program. The funding distribution mechanism is based on the Community Development Block Grant Program, which is every city with a population of 50,000 or more would be eligible for direct funding. Cities with a population below 50,000 would also be eligible, but that will be pass-through funding from the state of California in our situation. As with the Community Development Block Grant Program, 70% of the funding would be for direct entitlement cities, and the other 30% would be cities that fall into our category. Through the distribution mechanism, the formula is not the same as CDBG funding. The formula is based on unemployment numbers, poverty level, and population. Being as though we've got the highest unemployment percentage in Sacramento County, I think we're going to benefit greatly in terms of ratios when funding comes out for this. Each city could use up to 50% of the funding to retain employees that might otherwise lose their jobs because of budget shortfalls. Up to 25% can be given by a city to local community-based organizations to hire employees to provide services or functions not customarily performed by local government employees. So the way that we've interpreted this in discussions at the National League of Cities was organizations like the South County Services would be able to use some of this funding through the city to hire employees and to keep their programs staffed. If a city so desires, the remaining funding can be used to hire new city employees or rehire those recently let go. However, there is no requirement that a city use this part of the program. A city can use up to 5% of the funding for administration of the program. There is no local match requirement. There is also no requirement to retain employees once the funding runs out. There would be 2 years of funding, and then it would be up to the city to either retain or not retain employees funded by the program. Employees would have to be hired full-time with benefits under existing contracts or agreements. The federal funding can be used to cover all costs, including salaries and benefits. There is no cap on per-employee costs. However, no more than 20% of the funds can be used for management employees. The bill also provides $23 billion to help states support an estimated 250,000 educational jobs, provides $1.18 billion to put 5,500 law enforcement officers back on the street, and allocates $500 million to hire and retain firefighters. Finally, the bill provides $500 million for approximately 50,000 additional on-the-job training position slots to help private businesses expand employment. So with that, I'd just like to leave it open to council discussion.
We do have one speaker.
Okay.
Mr. Baldwin?
Al Baldwin, I live in Galt. I'm a concerned citizen, and I'm fortunate to live in a city that has a lot of character. The bill tonight, the Local Jobs for America Act, H.R. 4812, Andrew did an excellent job of presenting it. It's right off the fact sheet, and I wanted to make sure, and it was. I don't know if he said there's $75 billion that's going to be distributed over 2 years. He may have, and I just probably didn't catch it. There's a lot of money being involved here, and I was going to read what he read, but he read it so good I don't have to do it, so it's going to cut me down. That's great. What you're about to vote on tonight is just to say that you're for this idea. And it sounds good. The bill is in the first step of its legislative process. Introduced bills and resolutions first go to committees and deliberate, investigate, and revise them before they go to the general debate. The majority of the bills and resolutions never make it out of committee, but that doesn't mean this one won't. This may go right through it. But they'll be debated, they'll be talked about, and they'll be looked into. So it's not just a win all of a sudden. The point that I just wanted to express tonight, that I'm uncomfortable allocating money I don't think we have as a country, I don't think we as a country have. I can see the good side, but I'm not sure it will help the economy. The federal government has got to stop giving out money when they don't have it. And one last little quote, I'm tired of sending more local dollars to the government than the city gets back. That's just my own personal statement that I'd like to make, and I just, like we say, government's getting involved a lot. It sounds good. It's going to be debated. It's going to be talked about, and I'm sure it may get passed. I feel confident that it will, and I'm assured that all of you are going to let this go tonight. Other cities have. They've had pro and con on it, but they all got together and they voted that they think it's a good idea. So tonight, I'm not upset. I'm just telling you the way I feel about government and their spending. They're just spending way too much money. I thank you for hearing me tonight. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al. Comments from council members? Did you have a comment?
I did.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say that I went through the bill and I had questions. There's a lot of benefits to the local community. But the thing is, the biggest question for me was, where was the money going to come to pay for it? And, you know, we say that we don't want the government to continue to spend money they don't have, and can we still say that when it affects us? It's a difficult decision to make when you can see that that money could benefit your community. But I have to say that somewhere along the line you have to stick by your principles and stick to your guns. And I just don't feel that the federal government can continue spending the way it is. So I would have a hard time endorsing this bill, and I'll let it go at that.
I have the same similar concerns. I called the congressman's office in D.C. and down at his district, and I don't believe that I was going to ask if anyone's heard if any funding source has been identified. Andrew, if you know, or if the league...
No, at the time we got the presentation on this, there was not a funding source identified.
For city governments like ours, if we had money, this would be a good thing. There's a similar concern. I think chiefs express it too. Every once in a while we get money for a police officer, but you only have funding for a year or two, and then what do you do with that person if you can't afford to maintain that position, especially, and that can be true of a city employee as well. And I know California League of Cities endorses this also. A lot of people do. I think there's 300 and something groups when I last looked at the website, so it certainly has a lot of popular support. And as a past president of the California League of Cities for the Central Valley, I would take issue with the leadership for the reasons that have been expressed. Is that it's like in our state, there's a lot of good ideas, and if we had the money, they could do some good things. But the state of California doesn't have another dollar to hand out because they don't have a dollar, and the federal government doesn't. if the federal government's gonna hand out money, which it seems to like to keep doing, I'd certainly rather they hand it out in this manner than a lot of other ways I see them handing out the money that they don't have. But for my personal belief, I'm not in favor of supporting that they hand out any more money since they don't have it. As I say, of the things they could waste more money on, this is one of the best things they could do that on. Way better than a lot of things that I've seen them spend money on. So I'm willing to kind of watch and see how it progresses, see if they find a funding source. You know, if you read through the bill, I think the word entitlement appears 30 times, because that's what it is. It's just another entitlement that I don't think right now we can afford. So I'd be willing to watch how this progresses and see if they'll find a funding source for it.
There's some validity in what's being said here tonight. I have to agree. I agree. The federal government's just way overspending, and I don't really see any end in it. They seem to have a blank check. So as far as this local Jobs for America Act goes, you know, it's very hard to sit up here and say that if the money was available that I wouldn't take it, because I would.
Yeah, me too.
So, you know, whether it makes it or not, I don't know, but I would support it because the last thing I would want to do is have the money available and not have the opportunity to retain some of the jobs or some of the needs of this community. I'll support it, but it doesn't mean I don't agree with what's being said, because I most certainly do.
Okay. It is hard, I believe, and I agree with Andrew and Don, and I see your guys' side too. I believe that if the money is going to be handed out, that, you know, we should be at the table. I do have one question. You know, if the California League, I know the National is supporting this, is the California League?
Yes, they are.
They are too, right? That was my understanding. They were both organizations. I believe this could possibly help to, for lack of a better term, kind of jumpstart, you know, for our community. So I would support the resolution if that's what we're going to do.
With that, I would like to move the recommendation, which is to sign the resolution in support of H.R. Bill 4812, the Local Jobs for America Act.
I'll second the motion.
And there's a second.
If I could just ask for a correction in the language. We have in there that the city of Galt will retain the employment of teachers, which obviously we don't have any jurisdiction over.
Yeah,
Just take that wording out.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
Fine? Okay. Call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Payne.
No.
Councilmember Clare.
No?
Councilmember Haynes.
Yes.
Councilmember Meredith.
Yes.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes. Next item is Treasurer's Office.
Okay. Treasurer's report for period ending March 2010.
Thank you very much. The Treasurer's report is a snapshot of where the city's money is invested in. And this report here was done 34 days ago. So this is where we were 34 days ago. If you notice, we have money in the state of California with the LAIF funds, and about $7.5 million, which makes up about 13% of our portfolio. And as I said, that was true as of the end of March. During the month of April, there was another callable agency that I purchased, so that amount dropped down to about $4.5 million. And rightly so, because LAIF is currently paying about 0.5%. It's actually 0.55. We also have local CDs, CDs in Farmers and Merchants and in Premier West Bank. We also have non-local CDs. But the majority of our funds, about 76%, are in what are called callable government agencies. That's Federal Home Loan Bank, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac bonds. Now they're just in those, we're earning 2.16%, which in today's market is good. So there has been recently I have shifted money away from LAIF and more into government agencies just because I can extend the maturity longer and thus we receive a higher yield. So all in all, again, the snapshot at the end of March, the city was earning 1.9% on all of its investable funds. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, but I ask that you accept the Treasurer's report as submitted for March 2010.
Any questions from council?
I'll move we accept the report as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. No further discussion. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye? Aye.
Wait,
Roll call?
You need a roll call? All right.
which, I'm sorry, remember we changed this? Liz
Yeah.
keeps, giving me little notes
There are
here.
actually very few things we don't want to
Okay.
do it for, but,
I know we've been doing it the other way, but go ahead, sorry.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Claire?
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes?
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Aye. Sure.
Okay, the next item is the investment policy for the City of Galt for the fiscal year 2010-2011. By state law, the investment policy must be presented in a public forum once a year. And what this policy does is it accomplishes a few things. One is you as a governing body delegate investment decisions and authorize the city treasurer to perform in the investments or perform the duties to invest. Number two, it restates the objectives for investing of safety, liquidity, and yield. Three, it provides investment direction to the city treasurer, and as I said, you provide that city treasurer authorization. Now, this is the same investment policy that you approved last year with one notable difference, and I want to point that out to you. On page 7, there is section 15.1 where we talk about restrictions on securities. That paragraph right there states that as a treasurer, I could invest, if I chose to, 100% of our investable funds, say in U.S. Treasury bills and bonds, or 100% in the local agency investment fund. The next item, the federal agency securities, was at 80%. So in other words, I could buy the callable agency securities up to 80%. But I'm asking that we change that from 80 to 85%. The reason is, in today's world, we're getting the best yield by purchasing the callable investment and callable agencies. Right now, as of the end of March, we were at 76%. With the one additional investment that I purchased, that put us at about 81%. So what I'm trying to say is, if we, in the investment policy, boost that up from 80 to 85, then we'll still be in adherence to the investment policy. So that's the only change that I'm recommending that we make for the year 2010-2011. Okay? Any questions? Okay, great. If that's the case, then again, I need to adopt a resolution approving the investment policy for 2010-2011 as I presented.
Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? None? Roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Claire?
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes?
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Aye. Okay. Under communications, I believe, Andrew, you had something?
I do. More of an announcement than it is communication. Late last week, my wife and I signed a contract to purchase a home in the town of Flournoy, which is about 20 miles east of the city of Corning. Flournoy, F-L-O-U-R-N-O-Y. So we're anticipating to close escrow on it the middle of June. So I'm fully anticipating that the second council meeting in June will be my last one on the city council. So I wanted to get that out early because I know a lot of people are planning their election campaigns, and I think it's important for people to get an early start, and I wanted all the candidates in the race this year to know exactly what the field will look like. So,
Okay. Wow. I believe that Councilmember Darrell Clare had something he'd like to
I do.
say too.
I just got back last week from Washington, D.C., where I was in a week of national defense and homeland security meetings and briefings. And I've been asked to take on some greater roles in my company in those areas and deeper into classified areas. Those of you who know what black programs or dark programs are will know what I'm speaking of. As a result of that, much as Andrew just announced, I will not be able to complete my term either. I am not resigning this evening. I will get with the mayor and with our city attorney, city manager, talk about when the smoothest transition could be, and given Andrew's also, it's going to be bumpier, it seems like. Council is going to be down to a small number, which we have seen that before and the problems that brings with quorums and things. But just as a little information and reference for people, I know a lot of you know that I've been in the defense industry for quite some while. For the last 17 years, I was vice president of Westland Technologies in Modesto, commuting from my home, working here in Galt, and was able to manage that. Last June, as many of you know, I took a job in Southern California for a company as their vice president in Corona, California. And I was still able to stay here and commute, although I just realized the other day I've already spent 42 nights in Washington, D.C. this year. And that's normally what I do in 1 year, and I've already done it, and it's the 1st of May. So the time away has been tremendous. It's good for my Marriott points. But when I joined MSM as vice president, there was the opportunity in time, if I behaved myself, to become president of the company. And they put that honor upon me last February, actually. I became president and CEO of the company in February and have been running the full operation since then. Last week, our meetings just made it based on some world events that have occurred, some unique technologies that our company offers to the Navy. I think, again, many of you know, but we create stealth materials to help submarines be able to protect themselves by other people not being able to find them. Radar absorbing materials to protect surface ships, and some other materials I can't discuss. We're going to do some things to protect our special operations soldiers and some of the things they're doing now. And so it's just not going to be feasible to continue. Our main focus is the new Navy's destroyer called the DDG-1000, the Zumwalt class, which is the first ever of its type. It's the first ever stealth surface vessel, and it's designed to protect our sailors from missile strikes from as far away as 400 miles. And those of you, probably a lot of people didn't notice, but a Korean vessel took a direct hit and many lives were lost. And I've actually been working for 7 years on a technology to protect our ships from that very thing. And as often happens, as you've seen with the immigration, something occurs that's been on the back burner for years and then it's at the forefront. So I was called back to Washington, D.C. to fast track that technology. So I'm sure as for Andrew, it's bittersweet to not be able to finish the term especially. I know Andrew had some plans for his family maybe that would have taken him outside the city, as mine were, but I'm sure both of us had hoped to at least get through the end. It's just not going to be physically possible.
yeah, for me, the $6,500 move-up credit, it expired the 30th of April, so I wanted to make sure that I got onto that. So we're going to keep our house here in Galt as a rental, so I'll still be connected here in the city. And I'll try to stay active as much as I can when I'm down here, but it's a great opportunity for my family, my kids to grow up out in the country and in a place where they don't even deliver the mail to your house. You have to go and pick it up at the country store. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, let me be the first to congratulate both of you. That's good news on both your parts. I hate to see either one of you leave, but obviously you're both going on to bigger and better things, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Both of you. fantastic endeavors, but you'll still be around for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Are there any other communications and surprises?
You can't afford it anymore. You lose your quorum.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have something to tell you.
Oh, okay. What? No, you're not leaving. No. Well, like Daryl said, you know, it's happened in the past, and us three will just strive to work.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, we will. We will. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we will adjourn into the redevelopment agency. May I have the roll call, please?
Board members Payne? Here. Claire?
Here.
Haynes?
Here.
Meredith?
Here.
Shelton?
Here. Public comment?
We have no speaker sheet?
Information consent agenda items, if you would read those two, please.
Yes, we have 2 items. Number 1, approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 20th, 2010. And number 2, approval of the redevelopment agency warrants.
Any comments or questions? If none, is there a motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. No further discussion. Roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Claire?
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes?
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Aye. Department reports, treasurer's report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Before you, you have the Treasurer's report for March 2010. I'll make this very brief. The 92% of our funds is in LAIF. The rest is in the Farmers and Merchants checking account. And I asked for your approval. Do we need to go through a vote on that, or do we just approve? Yeah? Okay.
We do.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Don, did you make the second?
I second, yeah. You did, you're right.
I thought it was.
I made the motion.
Yeah, going. I thought I was hearing something that other than the buzzing.
I completely missed it.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Claire?
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes?
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
All right.
Thank you. The next item is the investment policy for the Galt Redevelopment Agency. Very similar to the City of Galt. I'm asking for the one change that we made in regards to the agency securities moving from 80 to 85%. And I asked for your approval regarding that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. No questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Claire?
Aye.
Councilmember Haynes?
Aye.
Councilmember Meredith?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Aye. Adjourn and reconvene to the Galt City Council. City Clerk's report.
We have an appointment tonight. The City of Galt is a member of the Sacramento Public Library Joint Powers Authority. We share a seat with Ileton, who has always held the primary seat. We have been notified by Ileton that they wish the City of Galt to designate a primary board member. And the meetings are the 4th Thursday of the month at 3 p.m. in the Board of Supervisor chambers. So at this point, I am asking for an appointment to the Library Authority, and Ileton will hold the alternate position.
Is there a council member who'd like to volunteer?
I would volunteer for that as one of the few remaining council members. But also I am a member of the Friends of the Library and quite involved, so I would volunteer unless somebody else.
No, that's fine. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Vice Mayor Payne to
I'll
fill
second
the
that.
primary position.
I like you guys are going to be this way all the way now, right? No matter what comes up, sorry, you're volunteering the three of us for everything.
It doesn't have to be the
Doesn't have to be a vote.
That does not have to be the
We'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Actually, I have a few reminders as well. Let's just find my...
Can I make a suggestion briefly? I was going to bring this up under my comments, but it's probably appropriate to talk about it now. Maybe in the next meeting or possibly the first meeting in June, we reappoint council members to the positions that Councilmember Claire and myself currently hold. For me, it's the Green Print Steering Committee, the Joint Powers Authority with the middle schools, and the alternate to the Air Quality Board, which we're going to need. We have 2 vacancies on that board very soon, so. So it's probably a good opportunity for the other three council members to start checking their calendars.
Thank you for.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get a list together.
Yeah.
Just a couple reminders, actually not only one, no, a couple. On May 5th, the Parks and Rec Commission will hold a special meeting here in the council chambers at 7 p.m. That's tomorrow. May 12th, the Parks and Recreation Commission will have their regular meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, the regular meeting was canceled on May 12th. It was, is now moved to May 5th. On May 13th, there's a Planning Commission meeting at 6:30 here in the council chambers. On May 20th, the Beautification Committee will meet at 3:30 in the City Hall Community Room, and that will take us to our next council meeting.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Comments by staff?
I have one, actually a little bit of bad news. We got word today that the California Redevelopment Association lost its lawsuit against the state of California on the redevelopment, the state rate of redevelopment funds. What that means for the city of Galt is the state will be making a payment to the state in the amount of $1.1 million by May 10th, another $250,000 next fiscal year. It's being appealed by the CRA, and there's going to be an amicus brief filed by the League of California Cities. So right now, absent a stay, which the CRA is going to try to get a stay from that that payment here before the 10th, but absent that, we'll be making a very large payment to the state on May 10th.
Do you want to share with us what fund that money will come from?
It's redevelopment dollars.
Okay.
Do you have available funding to make the payment?
Yeah, I mean, but it's going to obviously have an impact on our ability to do projects in our redevelopment area relating to, you know, Old Town and all kinds of projects that we have going on down there. Other ones we have put in the capital improvement program, things coming up. It's going to definitely put a cramp in a lot of the things that we want to do, and our ability to repay some of the debt, the outstanding debt that we have, both to the city of Galt as well as outstanding debt we have for previous projects that we've done. So it's going to be tight for a few years until we're able to get past those payments. And we just hope they don't do it again to us this year or next year.
It's a big hit for us.
No, it's huge. It's huge. It's not just us. I mean, it's
Everybody.
Everyone.
$2 billion statewide, local redevelopment agencies. I think the city of Sacramento is, I don't know, 10 or 15 million dollars, and just about every city that has a redevelopment agency is taking a tremendous hit. That money is going to the state to help balance their budget, and this is, you know, the need that we see statewide to there's a ballot measure going to be coming up in November to prevent the state from doing these types of actions in the future. That would, you know, make sure that the local revenues remain local, and that our money, taxpayer dollars that are from our residents, don't continue to go up to Sacramento, that they stay here within the city of Galt. But at this point, you know, we don't have much choice unless we get some relief from the Court of Appeals.
Can I ask you, after we pay that, what will our balance be in that fund?
Zero?
Zero, I mean, it's virtually nothing.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. We don't have any money left in that fund.
And our ability to borrow.
Yeah, we're still going to actually have to issue, what we're looking at doing is issuing some debt, potentially some bonds next year to fund some of our outstanding kind of obligations, as well as do some projects. So we will have some ability to move forward with some things. It just takes a big head out of some of the things that we had wanted to do going forward. Certainly having a $1.4 million hit is not easy to absorb, but we do have, I mean, we planned for this take. We were hoping it wasn't going to happen, but we planned in a way that we're able to make the payment.
Any further comments from staff?
One.
Sure.
Far less of reaching, we're going to be closing 4th Street between D and E. This is consideration for the Galt Senior Place project. That building is so large, there's no place for the contractor to work on site, so we're going to allow them to close the street as a yard. We'll provide advanced message signs and detours. It's going to be closed right now through September, and we'll reevaluate where they're at. It'll help them get their project along a lot faster.
Just in front of their project site?
Just in front of their project site. We'll provide detours around and message signs further up the street to help traffic get around it.
make sure we let the merchants around them know as soon as possible and make sure they have a, not your number, but a contact number nights, weekends, and whatever we can do to be ready to respond to inconveniences, because it's a long time to have that closed.
Okay, if there's no other comments by staff, we'll move to comments by council members. Vice Mayor Payne?
I have several. Talking about our library, this Saturday they had a wonderful event. If you drove by there, you saw a bunch of colored umbrellas, and it was in celebration of, hope I'm pronouncing this correct, Dia de los Niños, which is the Day of Child Celebration. And our library is a wonderful asset to the community, so I wanted to mention that and say that it was a big success. Also, I wanted to congratulate Liberty Ranch students. There was an article in the Lodi paper about winning the Best Design Award. This is the engineering class at Liberty Ranch. And I think as a community, we have some outstanding students, and we should be proud of them and certainly acknowledge them. So again, there's a nice long article about it in the Lodi paper.
Yes, Barbara, my stepson is one of those children right there.
Would you like to mention his name?
Thomas Dahoney.
Okay. Okay. In addition to that, I wanted to put a plug in for the Draft Fest, which is a fundraiser for Project Galt. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it was something that was supposed to be part of the horse arena that we had talked about a couple of years ago. That didn't seem to go anywhere, but they were determined. And Project Galt is really horse therapy for mentally challenged and physically challenged people. And they are currently operating at the different schools after school, and there's a lot of volunteers. The Draft Fest will have an exhibition of those great big horses called draft horses like you see in the Budweiser commercials. They will also have bluegrass music available there and tri-tip. So it's a wonderful attempt they're trying to do to make some of our mentally and physically challenged people let their muscles develop a little bit better, as well as mentally they can benefit from riding the horse. And besides that, it can enrich their lives and just make them a lot happier. So I would encourage you to consider buying a ticket. It's May 15th. I have some. You can get them from Karen Schauer and as well as other people. So let me see if there's anybody else I want to mention. I had so many. Nope, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Budweiser draft horses must be why it's draft beer.
Must be.
anything else you'd like to add?
Two quick things. One was we received a in-house memo, I guess I'll call it, from our city attorney concerning the results of a Supreme Court case, Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission, wherein the Supreme Court determined that many of the contribution limitations that had been imposed were found to be a violation of the First Amendment and thereby a violation of the Constitution. And I bring that up because it has effect on our own city's ordinance, which many people recall I had severe issues with and said at the time, this has got to be unconstitutional, just nobody had the money to take it to court and find out. So it's ours has stood for now, but I would like to see this brought back to the council as recommended so we can clean up the language of our own ordinance so we don't end up in litigation having denied someone of their First Amendment rights. And there are still abilities to impose limits, but we don't want to limit anyone's First Amendment where it shouldn't be amended. So the next item I wanted to bring up is a continuation of what Andrew brought up, and for much the same reason I'm sure Andrew did. The council is going to have a clock that will start when either of us actually resign our seats, which isn't tonight, but for both of us it's in the very near future. So that's why I wanted to chat with whomever, and so you folks can start making contingent plans, whatever you might choose to do. Andrew and I won't be able to participate in whatever decisions you're going to make until we're gone, and then you'll have to decide what you want to do. But you can begin, and I would ask that the city attorney and staff, city clerk, let you know what the options are, because once we actually quit, and you only have 30 days, if I'm right, to do whatever you're going to do. But right now, you've got maybe 60 days to think about it. So just thought I'd bring that up and ask the city attorney if that's about right, or if I don't want to be misleading anyone.
No, that is correct. Once there's a vacancy created by a resignation, then the council has 30 days to either make an appointment to fill that spot or spots, or send the matter to election. And in this case, both seats are up for election in November, so the choice would be to make an appointment or not, in which case they would remain vacant until the November election.
Yeah, I would hope that there wouldn't be any interest in a special election. It would be, I think, money poorly spent so close to an open election anyway. And as Andrew said, this will give anyone who has an interest in the seats time to begin making a decision. Many times some people don't want to run against incumbents because they're harder to unseat, so they have plenty of time to prepare for that. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Haynes?
Yes, Mayor and I met with the Community Service District, Fire Department out of Elk Grove. I thought it was a good meeting. It was a meeting getting reacquainted with them, and I thought it went quite well, so I was quite pleased with it. I think we got a lot out of it, actually. And I think, Jason was there, and so I think we did really well with that. And that's all I have this week.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Meredith?
The only thing that hasn't been touched on yet was I've been contacted by 2 members of the SMUD board about possibly bringing a resolution of opposition to Prop 16. I don't know if any of the other council members have been contacted yet. SMUD is really fighting Prop 16, and they're asking local jurisdictions within their jurisdictional boundaries to consider adopting a resolution of opposition to Prop 16. So,
Can you find out? Well, it's Liz.
Okay.
great.
Get that to us.
That's all I've got.
Okay. Thank you. I attended the Relay for Life, which was Saturday. That was a very bittersweet, emotional opening, if you've ever had the opportunity to go to that and see all the cancer survivors. I know that there were some staff members here. I don't want to speak for them, but I believe it was pretty well attended. I don't know what the funds were. They said last year that they raised like $55,000, and I don't know what was raised this year. But anyway, if you get the opportunity, like next year, stop by and say hi to everyone. I know they would appreciate it. I have kind of a personal thing that I would just like to invite. If you're looking for something to do on Wednesday afternoon or Thursday, there will be 2 track meets at Galt. Due to the weather and the rain, we couldn't hold them, so we're having one tomorrow afternoon, and then we're having actually what they call a triple, which is 3 schools, and we'll all be competing. So it's a lot of fun, and it is free, okay, and snack bar's open too. So anyway, we will not actually close. We will reconvene to the closed session. We still have that one item we were going to complete. So I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight.